Hello, I'm David Hart, Executive Vice President at the Florida Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line. Our special guest today is Senator Jeff Brandes from St. Pete. Welcome, Senator.
Hey, thank you. Good to be here.
Senator, you are the chair of the Senate Transportation Committee, and as such, you've been putting together the transportation package this year. And I'd love to ask you a little bit about what's in that package and how do some of the things you're working on tie to the Florida Chamber's Trade and Logistics study?
Sure. So a number of things in the package. Obviously, it's obviously a very large piece of legislation. One of the major things that's in the package this year is we're allowing the Department of Transportation to take on many projects at airports that they've previously haven't been able to take on. So we've said that they can fund up to 100% of projects that are considered strategic to the state of Florida.
That's terrific. I know in the area of transportation, you've been a real proponent for new innovation, and we certainly share your appetite for economic development and bringing new concepts to Florida. For our members who maybe haven't been to another big city lately, like Washington, D.C., tell them about Uber and what you're trying to do to bring Uber to Florida.
Sure. So there are these apps on smartphones today that you press a button, get a car. And it's not just Uber, it's Lyft, it's Sidecar, and there's many others that are following these. But essentially all of the technology is very similar. You press a button, you get a car. And unfortunately, over the years, there has been these onerous regulations put on at the local level that prohibits these technologies from entering Florida. So we have Uber has established themselves in Jacksonville, but they want to move into other major markets like Tampa and Orlando and Miami. But these markets have minimums to get into chauffeured vehicles. So in Tampa, they have a $50 minimum. In Miami, they have a $70 minimum to get into a chauffeured vehicle, and their business model doesn't work. And so we're working with at the local level and at the state level to say we shouldn't be setting minimum prices. We should let the free market determine how people want to choose their transit options. And I think this really helps us solve a lot of the challenging problems we have in transportation. And really, it is the future of transportation.
I heard you mention recently that we are, we're one of the #1 destinations of bringing in tourists, including business tourists from all over the world, and that we ought to be about creating new innovations for those visitors to Florida when they can experience that in another market. Wouldn't we want them to have that same A+ experience in Florida?
Sure, that's exactly right. I mean, business travelers get off the plane, they step foot in Florida airports, they open up their smartphone Uber app, they press a button and they say, no, it says no black cars available. And if I was a business traveler, I would go, well, what kind of backwater doesn't have Uber, or what kind of backwater doesn't have these other applications? And so let's bring Florida into the 21st century. Let's drive innovation. Let's let the high-tech corridor do high-tech things.
Well, thanks for your work on that. Let's shift gears for the time we have left and talk about flood insurance. This has been an enormous issue in Florida, certainly in your part of the state, in Pinellas County. A lot of homeowners, I imagine a lot of your neighbors have been hit with enormous increases in their flood insurance from the National Flood Insurance Program. It's not lost on any of us that Florida has about 40% of the overall portfolio of the National Flood Insurance Program, and that over the years we've paid in 4 times as much as we've gotten back. You have been very creative, I think, in trying to find some private sector solutions to those challenges, and I'd love for you to tell our viewers a little bit about what you've worked on there.
Sure. So as you stated, Florida is essentially the flood insurance market. I mean, we're 40% of the overall market for the United States. It's time for Florida to control its own destiny, and our bill simply allows Floridians to take control of their own destiny. Let's let them work with insurers. Let's let them determine how much insurance they need, how much insurance they want, and how much insurance they can afford. And really the only parameter is, and in fact, I believe the only state interest is to make sure that whatever contractual relationships or contractual obligations they have with their mortgage company are met. So to me, anything above those contractual obligations is really between the homeowner and the insurance company to determine what's in their best interest.
Well, Senator, I want to thank you on behalf of all the Chamber members for your work on transportation and infrastructure, your work on bringing innovation to Florida, and certainly your outstanding efforts to find a private sector solution on flood insurance. And to our viewers, thank you for joining us on another edition of the Florida Chamber's Bottom Line.